because my main point here is like why everybody has like the insane expectations that every game that's going alive immediately, just everybody shit their pants.
Because we see a lot of games that go live immediately and everybody shit their pants.
Yeah. But the thing is, as we discussed with Royal Kingdom, it takes time until you build that revenue, and until that stacks up.
It's 4 a.m. and we're rolling the dice. Matei drops knowledge made of golden eyes. Felix with ads making those coins rise. Jack up designs, worlds chasing the sky. We're the 2.5 gamers, the midnight crew. Talking UA adverts and game design too. Matei, Felix, Shaka bringing the insight. We're rocking those vibes till the early daylight. Matei, UA, master eyes on the prize. Tracking data through the cyberspace skies. Felix stacks dollars like a wizard in disguise. Jack up's crafted realms lift us to the highs. 2.5 gamers talking smack. Slow hockey stick, got your back. Ads are beautiful, they light the way. Click it fast, don't delay.
So stupid.
Yeah, okay. Welcome everybody. All right. Welcome. This is 2.5 Gamers. My name is Matej Lančarič.
I'm Felix Bromberg.
And I'm Jakub Rem.
And and we are your hosts. And we are gonna talk about what else than Candy Crush Solitaire. Because, well, as we are
Wait.
the experts. Whoa,
Yeah.
the experts on the solitaire games, because of course everybody played in their lives 10 solitaire games, except that's a lie.
You
That's a
mean
lie.
like Windows Solitaire?
Yeah. That's the only solitaire most of our listeners and both of you played, most probably. Yeah, right. That's what I thought.
No, but like,
Yeah, that's the thing.
yeah.
Why there's zero creatives like that? Like I'm pretty sure that they should be creative as
Grand
as
Harvest
kids.
has it at the end of the levels.
Yeah. Of course. What do you want to
Well,
say, Felix?
but we also want to congratulate our dear co-host for the birth of his daughter yesterday. So Jakob,
Well,
congratulations for that.
we want to congratulate his wife, not
His
him,
wife.
because he
Right.
did absolute zero. He was there just a moral support.
And he is recording
literally-
a podcast episode the day after.
Man, look, so there's the tradition in Slovakia says when your child is born, you need to get shit faced, as I mentioned. So
Sounds
you
very
drink
logical.
until you drink for the child's health. More you're shit faced, the healthier the child is. But he doesn't drink, so he needs to record the podcast. That's
That
the
is the
only
most
thing.
Eastern European shit I've ever heard.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
We have many like this.
Yeah, it's like, come on, man. Like,
You didn't even hear what we do at Easter.
Yeah.
All right.
crazy stuff.
Congratulations, the Remiars. Congratulations. Now let's get on to this amazing show.
Yeah, of course. Especially Yanka. Okay, anyway. So what should we just jump straight in?
Metrics.
Because,
Let's please metrics
We
first.
go
I
metric
don't know.
contest next time, man, because there's lots of happening
Yeah. Okay, let's go metrics.
in between. So
I think still you made those predictions that this is gonna be whatever.
it's gonna be a Battlefield this year. Yeah, that's still on the table.
Battlefield of what? Of
Solitaire.
wounded soldiers? Fucking
You
okay.
mean like rats run by a van?
Yeah.
Exactly, because this is exactly what's gonna happen.
Yeah, it's gonna be quite, let's say, interesting because let's go one by one, a little bit of history lesson. So this is the important thing, and let me get back to my predictions, and we can smooth transition into to this episode. So, what's happening with all of these games that are anchored in reality, such as like board games, such as like Domino, Solitaire, probably also stuff like Backgammon or whatever, like all these other kind of things it will also reach from time to time. So what happens here is that if you go into the top charts of these games, you see that most of these are okay. Like let's remove Candy Crush Solitaire because it's scaling right now, so it's an outlier here. But All of these other games that you see here, like Solitaire Classic Card Game, is literally 20 copies of that same game. I'm not kidding. That
Yeah.
are mainly driven by organic. That if you look into them, how they actually look, it's basically your old Windows Solitaire, and that's what people are kind of looking for. That old, good thing. It's similar to something to like chess or domino or I don't
Chess?
know, Ludo or all these other games that are people played them during their childhood. They want to play it now on mobile, but because there's this like thing where you see like a potential blue ocean market because like these games don't make that much IP revenue. They're mainly driven by organic traffic, driven by ads, yada yada yada. Hello, Felix. But at some point, somebody thought like, "Hey, this is a great idea. So let's use all that organic traffic and everything, and funnel it into our money-making machine of puzzle-based." Whatever monetization juice, as we know, and create stuff like Domino Dreams, which again, if you know how actual domino is played, and I work on some like real domino games, this is not domino at all. Like domino has very clear rules, it's a PvP game between two people and so on and so forth. This is basically some kind of iteration of a puzzler where all
Let's use the solitaire what we are looking at almost. Yeah, it's the same thing. It's the same thing
So
with
what's
dominoes.
happening? You take mechanics like with solitaire that people know because these bricks need to continue with each other, blah blah blah, like you have here. But it's not domino at all. It's like creates a puzzle basically. So it's like something similar to like Zen Match or whatever. Like I guess basically it's level based puzzler with mechanics from that board game. That's the important thing. And Domino Dreams is currently killing it, doing something like 200, 300K a day. I don't know what's the latest number, but that's there. So,
Well, only if you had sensor tower so you can check it.
yeah, you're right.
Oh my God. What?
That
Yes,
would be,
that would be awesome, right?
that would be
Whoa.
amazing.
Dice Streams made 16 mil in the last 30 days.
Yeah,
Yeah,
260K,
wow,
as I said. Yeah, so I think it's stopped scaling a little bit. It's still scaling. Okay, still scaling.
600K a day. Wow.
260, not 600.
260.
Why is my camera trying to get my spotlight?
Nice. Hello.
Hello, camera, return back.
No. Yeah.
There we go.
Wild camera appears again.
It's super
Because, by
effective.
the way, the listeners, if you are watching this, well, not if, but when you are watching this, we already recorded an episode about another game, and I have to tell you, that camera was wild. Was really wild. Felix almost didn't make it.
Yeah.
It remembers feelings, it seems. Anyway, so this is the dynamic that is happening, and this dynamic it already happened basically in the solitaire genre, because if you look at solitaire genre from revenue perspective, all of these top games that are making big revenue, it's like Grand Harvest basically currently only, it's a solitaire gameplay but puzzle based. It's not really something, because again it's pretty much this, where what we did is we took the solitaire mechanics of like card, you need to play on each other by the order, but that's it. There's like completely different things there, and in the end it ends up like this, where you have, or even faster, where you have boosters, you have streaks, you have all of the puzzle-based mechanics of like bread and butter stuff like match 3, basically. So it's a puzzler.
The big question is why everybody thinks they can pull off Monopoly Go, because they just do
Rushing head on.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah. So what's happening here is that Playtika Solitaire Grand Harvest is currently the category leader with 15 million a month revenue, which is very stable. If you look at the numbers, it has been doing pretty much 600K per day from start of 2023, and that's
What is
it.
wrong with your camera?
yeah, don't worry.
What?
That's
Just
ignore
don't
it.
talk
Just
about
ignore
it. It
Yeah,
starts
yeah,
doing
yeah.
more if you talk about it, man.
Ignore it. Yeah, ignore it.
Yeah.
I worked on this game way long ago, and it was already making quite significant amount of money. And oh my God, yeah,
Yeah, it's 62% driven by US, so it's like solid. And active users I think are a little bit of downward, but still very solid. Anyway, so this is Playtika's main category leader there. If we continue there, we see the Scopely game, which is Tiki Solitaire Tri-Peaks, which peaked in May 2021 summer, like 300k per day. Now it's what, like still solid 130k
but
per
if
day.
look at the lifetime revenue is 500 million.
Yeah, 500 because this is from 2014.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
it's
it's
half a
all
million
downloads
basically.
as well? Is view by downloads?
Yeah,
Downloads
40 million.
You mean
I just want to
countries?
see the trend. No, the downloads. I just want to see the overall
okay, okay.
downloads.
Second.
But look, you know how Tripolot started? They took Solitaire and they started that Solitaire as their first game.
Yeah.
Exactly because of this.
Yeah.
They just
Yeah,
took a
so
little
there's
bit
the
further with the ad
Scopelink
monetization.
thing, and then there's the Playrix things with Fishdom Solitaire that did scale very aggressively in May 2023 to something like 150k per day.
Would you say this is unfortunate shark fin?
Yeah, this seems like a UA pushed, UA induced shark fin, basically.
Making this shit up. Come on, man. Like,
But it's like let's check. This is completely UA induced shark fin, man.
yeah, of course.
So this is there.
You're
Maybe
still
they thought that they
inducing-
could strong arm the competition. Just
Yeah.
like roll over them with UA and then like,
Yeah,
their
but
share will go
Solitaire
down.
It's a different game.
Yeah.
It's not your usual match 3.
Yeah.
I guess freezing families didn't work out here.
No. There is one actually Solitaire game which is using this bullshit. It's not working.
Oh, okay.
Not effective.
Yeah.
Not effective.
So
You
These-
you will see like what they're doing on the Candy Crush side. And we kind of talked about it in the last creative trends.
Yeah. Yeah. By the way, fifth game on the chart based on revenue is King's Game, Pyramid Solitaire Saga. By the
Pyramid.
way, Pyramid. Sorry, which is currently making half of the money of Solitaire Candy Crush game. But yeah, like I guess like one of those like side games that King made, 87 million lifetime revenue from 2014.
Yeah. For King, I don't think that's very
Back
relevant.
then, I think it was okay, but
Back
now it's
when?
like
Back when?
back when
2004
Candy Crush
Come
wasn't
on.
doing 100 million a month.
Oh, Jesus Christ, but it wasn't 2014.
You tell me. I'm just saying they're in the top charts. And
Of course.
that just tells you how the top charts are low. Like you see,
Yeah,
like,
that's why I was
like
like,
Grand
the top
Harvest
charts-
is basically wiping floor with everyone. That's it. Like
Yeah.
goodbye. If you're not Grand
Yeah.
Harvest, we don't need to talk about you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and now it brings us into these again back to my predictions. All the people that are rushing into the category. So in the first place we have Candy Crush Solitaire, which we're going to talk about today more in detail. That was launched on February 5th, and the results are mixed, or even worse than mixed.
Well, I don't want to be really harsh on them too much, but yeah.
Yeah. Then we
Wait.
have the other category entrants, which are Disney Solitaire, which is basically a continuation of Domino Dreams from Superplay, which is now owned by Playtika. So I would guess this game was built before the M&A merger.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
It takes time to actually build a solitaire game.
Even
right?
though it's pretty much on that same pipeline. Just saying.
Yes.
Very similar. Huh?
Because
It
it's
is, yeah.
literally their pipeline, especially if you see the transitions between the meta gameplay thing.
this man.
It's basically the same. So
Exactly.
yeah, they just kind of reskin it and change the core, like a
Just-
hobby playbook.
But no. This is not Hobby Playbook. Come
Same
on.
meta, different core. That's hobby.
Oh, okay, sorry. I was thinking. I heard reskinned, and then I heard like, wait a second.
The
Anyway,
same, yeah.
the question is, and please let me understand this:
Mm-hmm.
who from the target audience, which is predominantly female audience, old female audience, old meaning
You mean
40 plus.
Who cares about Tinkerbell? and
Yeah, that's where I'm trying to get. Like, who really from this audience cares about Disney
Or
characters.
Beauty and the Beast.
Beauty and the Beast, yes.
Maybe you would be surprised. I don't know.
Well, that's what I'm trying to understand. I thought you would help me understand this because
Frozen.
the only thing, okay, yeah, exactly. It's just Moana. No, man, like that's a new thing.
Yeah, it's like
Lion
yeah.
King, maybe Beauty and the Beast, maybe all
Aladdin.
these Pocahontas, maybe Aladdin, yes. But seriously,
Lilo
Lilo and
and
Stitch?
Stitch.
No one cared about Lilo and Stitch, huh?
Cinderella, maybe, yes. Okay, fine. But I mean, yeah, look. So my mom like took me to watch all of these when I was really little, but
But you're still not old enough to play solitaire.
exactly, yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm the vacuum is. I mean, honestly, I like the solitaire games, so I'm kind of, but I'm different. I like all the casual games for some reason.
Yeah. So this is pretty much Playtika's attempt number 1 in the soft launch, and there's Claire's Chronicles, which is Playtika's attempt number 2, because this is done on Journey's Journey metagame engine, which just switched into Solitaire Core by Vuga, of course, and Vuga, as we know, is owned by Playtika.
Yes, and I feel sorry for all those teams. It's gonna be a bloodbath.
Yeah,
this
it's going to
year.
be a bloodbath.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think so. This category can support even more than 2 games at all in that scale of revenue. Like, it will be amazing if we have like 2 games on the size of Solitaire Grand Harvest.
Yeah,
So,
but honestly, you were super like, it's solitaire games. Remember what I said. It's
What?
not gonna work. None of these is
Oh,
gonna work.
I didn't say it's going to work. I just
Yeah,
just
it's
said
fair,
everybody's
fair.
rushing
Okay,
there.
Of course.
Like, battles, there's lots of corpses at the end of each battle.
Yeah.
So this
That's very
is
true.
happening, and then the last entrant. This is kind of like a
They
black,
look so similar.
black horse here.
But that's the thing. Like, what else can you actually? Oh, Jesus
Oh.
Christ.
Really?
How is this a black? How is this a black horse?
It's like,
Look at
Not
this
called
grandma.
a black horse. It's called a dark horse.
yeah, it's dark horse. Sorry,
Dark horse.
but I would say maybe it's a white horse in this case.
This is a confused horse. This is a very confused horse.
I'm the confused horse.
No, but
What's Metacore doing? They got in there?
Yeah, it
Interesting.
seems to be getting.
why?
I don't know.
Why? I mean,
Maybe they like. How much did they get? Like 150 mil, like Lifeline for Supercell. Like maybe some of that money would be better spent on this rather than Pedro Pascal. I don't know. You tell me.
honestly, no, I don't see that. Why? Because the CPIs are higher than the merge games.
What are the CPIs right now? Just out of curiosity, like what do
So-
you see?
Giant.
Yeah. Look, this is very very similar to match. It's not exactly match, but it's not. It's somewhere between match and merge. So you
Match
really
3, you
can match 3. You can still you have
$50
like
in the US?
$50 easily, and I know those numbers because of recent conversations. And yes, it's like 20, 27, 30, 50, depends on the country.
Payer
and,
optimization. Yeah.
Exactly. So, if you haven't worked in this before, it's going to be very hard for you because all of the different tricks and stuff, raising families and
Yeah,
bullshit.
you need to learn the hard
not
way,
gonna
which
work.
means it's going to cost you money.
Yes. And if you look at the merch category and how you are actually losing against the Chinese, losing heavily, now you are actually trying to compete with Israelis. Good
Mhm.
job. That's really gonna work.
They also work really hard.
Really, literally, like how? Seriously, I mean, points for being very adventurous. But I really want to be wrong on this. But having worked on this, it's really gonna be tough.
Yeah, I think so.
Guys,
Like,
it's gonna be really
all of these like 4 new games we're talking about, I think like 3 or more is
Superplay
going
has
to be
the
dead.
best chance. Superplay has the
Yeah,
best
yeah.
chance.
You mean your Disney Tinkerbell?
Yes, but only because of their previous games. Because Nice
Yeah.
Streams and Domino Streams.
And
Only
because they have
of that.
Playtika behind their back.
But also Vuga has Playtika.
Yeah, but Vuka doesn't have. I think this is just like much better polish and overall like.
It's the approach to work and the attitude and everything.
Yeah.
It's like that's gonna make a difference. That's
Of
gonna
course.
make a difference.
Yeah.
You see how Domino's Dreams and have Dice Dreams started,
Yeah.
and where is it now?
Yeah, they sold the company for $4 billion.
Yeah, so that's the thing.
Yeah.
Not saying the Vuga it's also didn't sell for a lot of money before, but I just there's a little bit of it's just that the attitude
But
work is different.
isn't this in the end going to be like a CPI battle? In the end, where everybody's like bringing their own guns, where like Candy Crush is bringing the Candy Crush IP, these guys are bringing the Disney IP, these guys are bringing the grandma, and these guys are basically bringing the narrative spin, and that's how I see it basically.
I think this is not gonna be decided on the UA Battlefield, to be honest.
But for most part of it, I think still will be like product monetization LTV stuff super important, but if you don't have the users from low LTV or low CPI,
but there's no low CPI. There's the thing.
But you're gonna make it with those tricks.
Yes,
Mate Magic, as I heard.
Mate Magic. No, the Mate Magic. When I was working on this, which was a long time ago, nothing really
worked.
Well, they worked, but definitely different what you would say. You would expect simple stuff, very simple stuff for audience like this. Of course, I would now use different concepts, maybe, but
different magic.
Different magic. But yeah, I mean,
let's get to the review because lots of things to talk about. We can talk about the main game, so let's get to it. So Solitaire.
Wait, no. I have to say, I'm level 49.
Okay,
and you are
level 48.
And I played I restarted playing Solitaire Grand Harvest as well, and I'm on 42 or something.
Okay, I'm 14 also. Just wanted to see it.
Yeah, because yes, that game definitely changed
a lot
from the previous years. And I think it was a good comparison to have because these games are similar but different.
Yeah. Different in the RPU.
Yes, and also devil is in the details.
Yeah, there's a giant devil in the details. Anyway, so what's happening? February 5th, the global launch of Solitaire Grand Candy Crush Solitaire, which was soft launch on, if I understand, February.
It was February,
2020.
I checked it because Sensor Tower gave me one creative, which was apparently based on Sensor Tower launch in July 2023. But I checked Facebook Ads Library, and the first creative was launched in February 2024. So it was a year ago, basically.
Yeah, but I guess they worked on it before. It's just that's the soft launch phase. Anyway.
Yeah.
So what's the game's about? There's Candy Crush IP, as they like to do, because they also have like Candy Crush Match 3D currently, which is again the similar thing to Match Factory or all these other things. So they're doing like the Rovio playbook, where let's go after different genres and put our IP into it and hope for the best, basically. Which Rovio did at one point, and most of those things failed horribly, as you would expect. So what we have here is basically I would say a little bit of an old version of these puzzlers, where we still have the restoration meta, which is
I hate that.
Like I was like, guys, I think we passed this. Why are we just doing this again? Where we have, it's not really restoration; it's pretty much
replace it.
Candy sugarization, basically. So what's happening? You have these postcards, and then by each of these levels, you get energy, and when you have that energy, you use it, and it's similar to restoring something in the Gardenscapes. You just remove a part of the picture and switch it with candies or whatever, and that's it.
To be fair, I was reading some comments, and people like it.
If you're a core fan of Candy Crush, probably, yeah. But there's a question, like, do you really want to have only core fans of Candy Crush here?
I don't think so. No.
I don't know. Like I still don't think like I think it's a little bit of a stretch that people think that these IPs from the big games that we have on mobile can drive down CPI or give you
That's
any kind of
exactly what's happening.
advantage.
Yes, yes, yeah.
It's
That's
just
what
they
I think.
can't and they won't. Like Squad Busters, basically. Again,
Kind of,
Mm.
but
no.
that's a stretch. But still, yeah, okay, fair enough. No, but it's exactly what's happening in here, unfortunately.
Yeah, but this works with like Monopoly Go because Monopoly is a worldwide
Because
offline game, not a
yes,
mobile game.
yes. This is it's a brand.
It's
an
a
IP.
brand. Candy Crush
Can-
is also
it's
a brand, but only brand on mobile.
Yes, yeah. It's
So
yeah.
doesn't
of
have that pull. So I think this is like wrong assumption. The other thing is, for me, the whole game looks like 5 years old. I'm sorry. I'm just sorry, but like the whole
I wasn't
UI
gonna
visual,
say it, but yeah.
it's just like, guys, like, have you seen Royal Kingdom? How it looks now, and like all these other things. And by the way, you could do these things in portrait mode landscape. Like that's one thing I'm really giving to Metacore that they put into portrait. I think even well, it's a Grand Harvest, but it's no, it's landscape. Yeah. Okay, so this is the only portrait one, but it can be done. I guess like again, UX is a little bit worse, but it's just better. The other thing is that let's go to the gameplay, and this is the thing that I'll show you, which is the giant differentiator between the other games. So we have typical, like now, like Solitaire Grand Harvest. Pretty much, these guys took Solitaire Grand Harvest as their base.
It's 1-to-1, almost 1-to-1.
Almost 1-to-1. But there's one mechanic which is, yeah, I guess it has to do with monetization. So
absolutely,
you put these cards on top of each other and they need to go in order. So let's say we have J here, we can now do either Q or 10, so on and so forth. Actually, what we can do, we can take both. And this is the thing that Candy Crush Solitaire gives you much bigger strategic depth, which also make it much harder. Which is a giant question.
Maybe Felix can help us kind of decide if it's good or bad, because I'm saying the additional card
is actually up to hold mechanic. So
it actually helps you a lot in the gameplay, so it's easier
if you know how to use it.
If you know how to use it. But then Jakub is saying you need to actually think way more and then strategically think about the next steps, which is more difficult for the audience. But then, yeah, I think could be. But also, you need to think in match-free games in the very late stage levels as well. So kind of, I think they're used to this, and this is the main differentiation.
This is the main differentiation with all these days. Like this is the one, because for instance, again, the situation here, I go for Q, and normally if I would go for Grand Harvest, I would go for K and again like go from there. But I also want to get the 10. So what I do here is I put Q into this tap to hold thing. I leave it for later and then go for the 10.
Yeah.
See?
Which makes it easier.
Makes it easier, but also the game balance is based around this advantage, which means it's much harder if you're not using it, therefore you're losing.
But of course, then you need to use it.
Yes, but if you don't know how to use it properly, because there's so many tricks that this mechanic can do, like with the double pairs and stuff like that, where like I can put the pair of the same card here, and for instance, let's go with now we go with King again, then we go with Q, and again because now it's only J, but of course it's not only J, it's also A. See? And then is the Jack, and so on and so forth. So you need to think much more. Whereas if we go to Solitaire Grand Harvest and pretty much all the rest of the games, they work on a very simple premise. It's just one card that goes in the order. No saving, no nothing. It's just like you're just looking one next card. So if I get K, I can do either Q or A. That's it. If I go for Q, I need to plan around. So like, okay, there's Q. I cannot do A anymore. That's it. I cannot nothing's happening. So I can go for J here and then another Q and so on. And it's like quite simple.
Yeah, it's just a tapping simulator basically.
Yeah, but you just you still need to pre-plan your moves, man. Like you need to pre-plan like which card after each hand to connect in the chain. Here, the chain just gets much bigger.
It's more complex. That's true.
Yes. And because I think they're balancing the difficulty around it, because this game, like the difficulty kicks in super fast, like level 15, 14, like you're getting your ass kicked.
Where here?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm terrible at this, and I passed up to 16 without losing a level.
Without losing a level. C?
Okay, but that's 16. That's really where it kicks in.
No,
Go play until 40.
I'm 49. I lost once.
And I'm playing it wrong.
This is the beauty part of us free. And listeners, if you listen to this and then you listen to Good Sword episode, I was fucking terrible at that game. And this is my type of game. So I guess I'm
thinking, no time pressure.
Yes, exactly. I hate time pressure. Anyway, no, I honestly, I started playing. I was like, another solitaire, and then I started playing more. I was like, it's not actually that bad. What was the solitaire game? I need to play that again. So now I was playing 2 solitaire games, both on level 50 for like a couple of days.
Yeah.
But I lost then kind of motivation to play anymore. But anyway, the biggest difference in here and the solitaire Grand Harvest, as you mentioned, is the balancing. Because here, if you lose, it's really expensive. Because I mean, you have more options when you play, and you can strategize, but it's really expensive. So you rather go and play that level again. But in Solitaire Grand Harvest, you just buy those 5 cards because it's really cheap, and you have shit ton of
which
coins.
also goes to the other big change, which is the only change, is the boosters on the right.
Yeah,
they have the wild card, they have the lollipop, and they have the refresh. But if you compare it with all the other games, they have just the wild card with the price. Price is the key here. It's a price, because if I go here, I think I just have like
but
boosters,
you just come on, you just use all of them, and it's also price.
What do you mean? Oh, really?
Yeah, just use them.
So let's just use all of them then.
Or just use free hammers.
Okay, well, just give me a second. Can you, by the way, store them?
Where?
On the wild card. No, you can't.
I don't think so.
Okay. Let's just check. But it's still like they have 3 or 4 more things here. Where we are.
I can see you.
This
is your type of game.
This is my type of game, of course.
Yeah. There you go.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's much more.
It's more expensive. Yes, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like that's like the biggest change is on the balancing side.
Yeah, because it's like we can't compare the numbers, but we can compare the ratios. So 1 life here is like 2,000 coins.
2,700.
Yeah. Whereas here, 1 life here is, if we quit,
just
1 life here is what? 1,000.
1,000, but
and the wild card is for 1,000.
Yeah, but it scales as you go, and you are on level 14. And if you're level 40, I can check.
Yeah. Anyway, maybe I'm just like overstretching it, but yeah, that's minimal difference. The tap to hold mechanic. This is the main difference. Yeah. That's the thing. Which just, I think people in this category won't be able to utilize it to their full potential. Therefore, they could be just making the game too deep of a like strategic depth for the audience.
Okay,
Question.
It's loading. Yeah.
Why doesn't this game have any ads? Rewarded ads. Can someone answer me? Like, why? You can't blame it on Solitaire IP here.
It's not Solitaire IP. It's just where would you put them? In the like buying cards, it's monetization pool. It's like it would cannibalize the IAPs.
Okay, what about if you go into the shop, you have the free spin every day. Put that behind the rewarded ad.
Man,
maybe.
This is your usual moment to be or not to be, to have the ads or not to have them. It's
also we forgot to say the biggest difference is between those 2 games is this. You are getting smashed with special offers.
Yeah, that's the other big difference that I
every minute.
So I was expecting, because I heard a lot of people talking about this, and like they have like
so wait,
like
no ads. You just Just no good placements. That's like where we're finished.
No,
at?
there could be there could be definitely good placements, and as we talked before, we
Yeah.
could double the revenue by 4 ads per day.
Yeah.
This is King, which is going after IP revenue
But
predominantly.
you still have Candy Crush, and then you have the ads there. So
But you have the ads there if you play 4,000 level in
that's
Indonesia.
true. Okay, fair enough.
Man,
And also, there is if you play level 3, then the third booster is saying coming soon.
Oh,
It
really?
says coming soon. Yeah, it says coming soon. And by the way, the Solitaire Grand Harvest level 35, it costs like 1,500, so it goes up.
okay, so it's not okay. That's my bad. So it's the same. Sorry. But the other thing I was like super like disappointed, basically, literally disappointed. Like, why guys are you doing this? Postcard thing, renovation thing, where you should be literally doing this, which is the Royal Match Factory, like aggressive events rotation meta, where you have all of these like team goals, all of these events that are triggered completely based on the player, like stuff like this, basically, where we are just searching for opponents which are basically bots, and they just give you the incentive to play and be faster than the bots and stuff like that. And this rotates all the time,
Yeah.
forever. They even have like a mission center for it now. It works like charm, and everybody's doing it. Like, we literally reviewed the game like 2 days ago, which is doing exactly the same thing, is scaling like crazy. Quadruple the revenue of Candy Crush Solitaire, by the way. Yeah.
When we had the last creative trends, we were really thinking, oh my god, they're using this save the whatever.
Yeah,
is-
save the
and then-
Candy
Save
Crush
the King
career,
creative
yeah.
Candy Crush, yeah.
Yes. So maybe, just maybe, they implemented it in the game. No. That
I don't know.
answers-
I don't know. Like, I don't know what's
It
happening
answers
here.
everything.
But I think like they're literally missing the train. Like, why didn't you like?
I mean, if we are still talking about one of the biggest companies in the world.
I know, but like
Yeah. But
biggest
it
companies
feels
in the
awful.
world still stumble.
feels awful.
Do you,
I'm-
do you
so-
show the revenue in the last 30 days? Just
€7.
quickly?
no, it's not €7. It's basically
It's
here
not,
is the
yeah.
launch, and it's something like
25K per
25K.
day.
Yeah, and we
Here's-
really wanted to wait for this, so we
Yeah.
don't like jump on this because the revenue recalculator is not good estimate. This definitely is to estimate now after 2 weeks, basically.
Go on
And
the active
because
user base. So
The
here's what I
downloads
worked
are-
at.
The
Yeah, so
downloads are giant.
active user base.
Activate the user base.
Activate user base.
Order
right?
66.
So basically, I took the liberty here of just calculating with the user base in US, non-US, right? And if they got 55% of their user base to watch 4 rewarded ads, they would literally double the overall revenue.
No, it still wouldn't help them at all.
I know, but still. I'm just saying, like, I guess it's not going as well as they thought with the launch.
I would guess so. It's just like
Well, I would like
know,
to say we
Grand
might be
Harvest is
missing
doing
something, but
600K a day. That's now.
now.
Yeah.
Again, that's why I don't want to be really harsh on them, because it took them so long to actually get where they are at the moment. And from the very beginning, if you do
Yeah.
a
Well,
lot,
let's do very beginning, and we'll compare.
Yeah.
That's a good thing.
know.
So let's go ARP now, because this metric, this is not downloads by revenue per download.
Jesus Christ. Okay.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
it. man.
no, okay, Mr. Game Designer here. So
Yeah, and it's what, like-
teach me, master.
15,
Just-
20 cents.
Just put the other app or the game on the same graph, and then just align by app launch. I mean, you know how to use Sensor Tower. That's it.
Um,
There we
Easy
go.
as that.
there we go. App launch.
And then just zoom there, and that's it. See?
Still not there.
Yeah, but not that different.
No, man. Sorry. This is look here. This is where you need to. This is soft launch.
That's soft launch.
This is soft launch. That's why it's on par. This is global launch. See?
Then countries. Oh no, that's not going to do the same thing. No.
No,
Because, no,
don't press it.
don't laugh, because like they have 500,000 installs per day, but most of it is shit.
I
because
know,
it's
like
it's all,
80K US and then
they
like
just do
India and
US.
stuff. I
Just
know,
do
I know,
US.
I know.
No, go to all countries up there and then just switch to
Yeah,
US
yeah,
only.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I need to do it all over again. Aha.
Mm,
Eh,
You make an interesting point, Matej.
that's the thing.
maybe.
That's the thing. Also go to revenue since launch. It's the same thing. It's just it. Of course, it's not comparing apples to apples because it's different. But still, see.
But they were scaling it differently. They weren't doing like
Yes, exactly.
500K
I know.
downloads a day.
Yes, I know. But it's also not 500K because it's like
Yeah, the thing is
whatever.
that let's just get into like a
Yeah, it's just getting to it.
overall agreement that we all expected that this would scale much faster and much bigger.
What did you expect? Like millions a day?
No, like just I don't know, 50, 100K a day.
50 or 100, 50 or 100K a day.
25
Why?
seems just
Based on what? Based on Candy Crush IP?
Based on the expectation that this will just have much better monetization with the LTV that you're talking about there.
Because of Solitaire Grand Harvest, or because my main point here is like why everybody has like the insane expectations that every game that's going alive immediately, just everybody shit their pants.
Because we see a lot of games that go live immediately and everybody shit their pants.
Yeah. But the thing is, as we discussed with Royal Kingdom, it takes time until you build that revenue, until that stacks up. Obviously, yes, I would expect this to be higher, but because because it's King, because it's Candy Crush, because everybody was talking about it. But I still feel, I mean, obviously it's kind of almost half dead on arrival, but I think it's gonna grow, but maybe I'm wrong. I just want to be a little bit more positive about this. I'm trying.
From my
I will
point,
be
like
trying.
from product-based perspective, like as you said, I don't see the events, I don't see the offers. I
Yeah.
played numerous onboardings of like
Offer is
Royal
problem.
Match, Royal Kingdom, Match Factory, whatever, all the hybrid casual games that we see, and it's just like much more aggressive.
But you know what is really, really important? Go to albums.
Oh yeah,
And this is gonna save them. Go Paris. Click on the left on the side. There is a unicorn. There you go.
that joke at the end.
Thank you very much, Candy Crush and the
By
King.
the way, their album isn't even resetting. I was like,
Yeah,
oh, they have the album mechanic. It's like
More collections soon. Go and play the level 48 and check the third booster. Click on it and then just click. More booster coming soon. It's not finished.
yeah, it could be. It's not finished.
That's the thing. Like, more things are that.
But why release a game with Candy Crush IP after 5 years and not finish it?
I don't know. Ask Supercell about Squad Busters. Like, why? Well, because of reasons. I mean, because whatever.
Okay, so let's talk about this. You're like, it's gonna grow. I don't think so. It's gonna grow because of this, and this.
All of these are half dead. The only thing
But you're very pessimistic always. So I'm gonna side with Matej.
Man, they're gonna increase the CPI so much that your growth that you can take time to do is not gonna happen because
you know how much money these guys have.
But you know how much money Playtika will throw into this.
Of course. But it's a blue ocean.
Wait. So did we just agree on that the biggest winner of this is AppLovin?
Yeah, as usual.
No, actually no. I don't think it's applying. Actually, Facebook and Google for this, but
man, I really think like I buy your idea. They didn't finish it properly. They still can learn from blah 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 and all these things and slowly grow it. Yeah, I'm okay with that, but not in that bloody environment when there's like 4 or 5 other solitaire games coming after it, and we didn't even see the Chinese one.
So judge us in 6 months, basically.
Yeah. No, look. Look. Until summer, there will be 2 updates. I'm telling you, there will be 2 updates. One big in like 3 months, and then it's almost summer. Fuck.
You mean like what? Like the third booster?
New content, the booster, and the events.
Mm-hmm.
In the meantime, they maybe are gonna focus on
Candy Crush has excellent live ops pipeline. Like Candy Crush
Yeah,
itself,
how-
I mean, like King
I
has
know.
excellent live ops capabilities. Don't get me wrong; they know their
Yes.
shit.
They know their shit, but they don't know how to build solitaire games. I mean,
I don't know.
who knows?
I'm
Who
just like
knows?
I maybe I'm completely wrong on this, but I still think that tap to hold mechanic is making it more problematic than easier. In my opinion.
Yeah, I have a different opinion, man.
I would just
But
invest more into those event rotation meta.
sure, and also, I mean, again, you play solitaire Grand Harvest, you exit, you win the level, special offer, bam. You open the app, bam, special offer.
Yeah.
Here, it's there. Yeah, hello, hello, with special offer. Good. How are you there? Yeah, it's not even moving.
Yeah,
It's not even like all these like basic stuff. It's not doing.
Yeah, like if you compare it with, if you compare it with Match Factory,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
this thing is after every single level is like bonanza of stuff that's being thrown at you.
Again, cultural difference. No, I think,
Yeah,
about
I know.
think about it.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
all
yeah.
comes back to that. It's simple as that. It's simple as that.
I know. I'm pessimistic about this. I'm sorry. I'm just
You're pessimistic about
Use
everything.
everything.
It doesn't count. Yeah, it doesn't count. I mean,
Who would have thought?
yeah, it doesn't count. Well, you should be optimistic. I mean,
Like Marvin in the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think like this needs much more push in order to make a dent here in the current
I think it's
market.
too early.
Too early for what?
I think it's too early to judge it.
You said that same thing about Squadbusters.
I said it's too early to judge it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
no, I don't think so.
I don't think so.
You said. Yeah, you said.
No, I
Guys.
don't think anyone was on the pod for that. But yeah, for various reasons.
Various reasons. Yeah, no, but no. Give me the screen so I can share the creatives. Give me the screen. Man, honestly, everything we talked about on the product side, you can expect on the UA. It's not as
Is it
advanced.
videos of gameplay?
No, not only, but it's kind of running different things from Google, Apple, Integral even to Facebook. Moloko. Oh, hello, Moloko. You were not here before. It's good. Welcome to the Big Boys Club. Okay, so good old. Here it is. Not an actual gameplay, which is interesting. But
I was hoping the cards would start falling on his head.
whatever. I mean, that's exactly. There's a nice music. This is fine. And nothing really. It doesn't really need to appeal to the audience, right?
Mate, I think you engaged some submarine microphone.
Yeah, you just dived into the water. Oh, it's all good now.
I did what?
That
Okay.
was really weird. Yeah.
Or maybe because of this. Is it still under the water?
No,
No,
it's
it's all
better.
good.
And now it's not, right?
No, it's okay.
Ah,
Still
okay,
okay.
fine. Okay, so I'm back.
Because we were trying to sell your soul.
Yes, exactly. Ooh, sell my soul? I'm not selling my soul, but you don't have to sell your soul either. Because today's episode is brought to you by our sponsors, PVX Partners. Because if you use PVX Partners, there is no equity dilution. You don't need to sell your soul or any piece of your company. Because if you're scaling your game business and need funding, PVX Partners are here for you. So visit pvxpartners.com and see how they can help you grow your game. So, you repay as you get paid, very fast and flexible. So you can secure funding in 30 days and get a term sheet in 24 hours. Very nice. Very nice and smooth, Mr. Jakub. Thank you very much for that.
One more soul.
One more soul sold. Scale like a king with PVX Partners. Well, I'm not sure if they're using it, but maybe you should. Anyway, so this is the playable. Great, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's basically an end card, and it's live on Uplavin. So, guys, you definitely need a little bit more love on the playables at the end. And this is our good old
Save the king.
creative. Yeah, save the king, save the world.
Finally.
Yeah, but
Save the Yeti.
Save the Yeti. We showed this in the previous episode and the previous like the creative trends, and we were hoping, oh boy, we were hoping that this is gonna be in the game, but it's not.
It's not.
It's not. I mean, but how can you add it in the game anyway? I mean, you can figure it out, obviously.
What do you mean? Like everybody has it.
I know everybody has it. Yeah, it's true. And
like every Playrix game is using pin puzzle creatives, and they have it every second level.
I know. Also, we also saw this previous episode.
Heavy CGI.
Yeah, heavy
Dexter's
CGI
Laboratory.
narrative. Yeah, the narrative stuff, which is kind of story driven, and then you have the gameplay afterwards. And that's my problem with
It's
all
like
of
super
this.
interesting, by the way. Like you said that nobody's using like that. The concepts of Age of Empires mobile, like old CRT.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Windows, so nobody's doing that.
Oh, nobody's doing it. Exactly, and that's it's surprising because
I would expect that like you would get for that audience.
My mom was playing solitaire on my old Windows 95 almost every day. I could see all that animations.
Like I can already imagine the creative, like camera zooms on like old CRT monitor. You're playing Windows Solitaire, and then cards turn into candies, and you go from there.
Yeah, it's like you can do all this nostalgia stuff from the past, like exactly like Age of Empires Mobile did. You can use it here.
Yeah, it works for them.
But instead, yeah, I mean, of course, because it's slightly different.
Because it's 4X.
Because 4X, yeah. And instead, you're doing this. Hello, guess what? Best game ever.
Random UGC.
You see? Where is it? It's a classic solitaire game we all know and love.
But with a fun
Candy Crush twist. I mean, can you even believe this person to saying this?
Believing people?
No, it's just a bit boring.
I mean, of course, like boring is absolutely terrible. Thank you very much for this. Yeah, it's like that's my problem with these UGC videos, because it's just random people. They don't really care at all, and they have few of these. Obviously, they have playable on Mi Integral, which is kind of nice. Oh, what is this? Oh, it's not even a solitaire. Oh my god. Okay.
Well, some kind of match pair Tetris.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So let's go back because.
But they're full on fake stuff. Why don't they use it in the game?
Exactly. So I
guess that's the next thing they need to like cross right before they let it happen, right?
Also, you have January, let's say February.
I'm literally thinking if like there's some like random brand guidelines that are holding them down.
It's kind of nice playable.
I like the rainbow.
It's really really short.
Looks like Skittles Rainbow.
Very loud. Also, this one is old. Yeah.
Heavy CGI hook.
And the old
Grandpa
guy
on the top.
Yeah, Grandpa on the top. Exactly, Grandpa on the top. At least I guess he's real. I don't know.
Polish.
Yeah, but this is an old creative that they were running in the past, and like see, you have one page of creatives on Uplavin. So Felix, Uplavin is not gonna win on this that much. Because this is
that was the part where Uplavin.
That was the part. Yeah, that was the part. I mean,
so they're running what, Facebook?
It's mainly Facebook. No, it's mainly Facebook for Candy Crush Solitaire. I will show you. Well, mainly. Let's see, Free Networks, all of these, and not even that much. That it's weird. Honestly, and they have this. I think this is the one. This is really good. Actually, this is really nice. Really, really nice CGI stuff.
That's
and
really cool.
Yeah,
It's
they
so
go with very
satisfying
good
to watch.
production
It's
values.
really sad. Yeah.
It's really satisfying to watch. It's too fast for me, and I think for the audience, because it's like so many things happening at
Aren't
once.
all
but
these
still.
things that like go directly into gameplay just have like atrociously high CPI then?
No. You have still a hook in here, and it's kind of not only.
You mean like compared
gameplay.
to that Yeti killing Save the Yeti thing?
Yeah. Look what. Yeah. The thing is, I'm gonna share also this latest analysis, which is the impression share. And look,
Mhm.
they launched. Basically, it's
Whoa.
80% Facebook. And you saw how many creatives it's there on Facebook. It's really, really low, guys. Like it's.
The creative depth,
I don't think. Yeah. And I saw. I don't think they're spending a lot of money, to be honest. Because look,
because they saw the revenue numbers.
no,
We'll have
because
to revisit this when we get path metrics. Like really,
because you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 creatives launched in February everywhere. It's not
everywhere. On Facebook
Yeah, it's-
Audience Network. Yeah.
no a Facebook audience. It doesn't matter. It's just all the countries I'm in. And this is it. I mean, how can this spend a lot of money? Tell me.
Yeah.
Also,
okay.
this
very high
Something wrong.
CPIs.
Not very high CPIs. They're just not spending money at all in big quantities.
And also that all those numbers are just a high kind of featuring.
Yeah, because that's
Numbers.
the point what Matej was trying to get with the comparison, that those numbers are like what, like
India, Indonesia, all of this bullshit.
Yeah.
It's not US only.
so like
But-
US is still first, like for let's say yesterday's downloads, like 30K US, but then there's 15K, 14K India, 7K Brazil,
Yeah, unfortunately, we
5K
don't have the source.
Mexico,
I can
stuff
look
like that. So
here. We have it's quite a lot of installs, but then we go here and we go countries and then they stuck.
Oy.
yeah,
Look, it's 30K US. And everything else, like 150K downloads. And this
not
is
that much.
Yeah, it's not that much.
And by the way, this is very interesting. Germany is the biggest revenue country, not US. Germany.
There you go. Yeah, come on.
Okay, they overtook them. Yesterday it was.
Yeah, so when we checked it, when you checked it was a little bit different. But still, this is look. I mean, it's still not bad, but honestly, 500,000 downloads and only 100,034 revenue. That's quite low.
Yeah.
So this is not high quality users, because if these were high quality users, there is missing a zero.
Or there's monetization not aggressive enough to monetize them.
Could be that as well. Yeah.
Will be good for review radar, I guess.
Of course. Like,
Of
man,
course,
we're gonna do like solitaire body count episodes at the
Yeah.
end of the year.
The bodies at the flow.
Exactly. That's what I had in mind.
I'm gonna get a tattoo of every solitaire game that died as a tear here. As a tear here. It's gonna be all of them.
like an anime with all the tears.
Yeah. I'm just gonna cry solitaire games. Jeez. No. So, and that's the thing. Like, I really want to show you something interesting on the UA side, but I don't have anything to share that's super interesting. I can share, look this, which is a solitaire Grand Harvest, and they're doing a lot of spend on Google, a little bit of Uplavin and all over the place, Liftov and stuff, and then some DSPs. But Google was the biggest in the previous years, and it still is. Even if we go like the last 30 days, still 40% is Google. So that's where Candy Crush is kind of missing out, because they only run Facebook and not that much. So that's why I think we are still very, very early, but I'm not sure like what they are waiting for. That's my.
I'm just checking Domino Dreams. How
Yeah.
the curves looks like in the beginning. and like their launch basically, if I see this right, was
Right. And
Can you give the screen
launched-
to Jakob?
Yeah, sorry, I'm just dying. You can't have six pages of credits when you launch a game.
yeah, especially on the giant scale, because they
Yeah.
like just and this is I think this is the source of that expectations that I'm having, that when I see games that's having like 500k downloads that IP driven and stuff like that, did you expect that it's gonna get some scale? Because again, let's check Domino Dreams, which is very similar concept, and again, so you see how revenue pretty much, this is soft launch and then slowly like take like really slow hockey stick. This is like textbook slow
This
hockey
is a
stick.
slow hockey stick.
Yeah.
This is
But if you check downloads, they never went over some kind of giant amount of downloads ever. Like there's
why? Because it's also expensive.
yeah, it's expensive, but they're paying for quality. They don't care, and they're like slowly scaling it.
That's the
exactly.
thing, that's
It's
the
not
thing.
like-
But honestly, I don't want to say it, but look, it's a big company, and we always talked about like how they kind of approach UA. And if I look at this, I would say this is a classic UA global launch from the 2015.
Yeah, that's exactly that.
Where they run a shit ton of mobile app install campaigns. You get traffic. Oh, that's it. And
Yes.
but back in the days, it was actually revenue, but now it's not.
Yes.
That's what I'm thinking.
So how would you do it instead then, if you're not doing a 2015 launch? Like, how would you do it instead?
Step by step purchase campaigns, value campaigns, US tier 1s, rest of the world, like basically everything. Facebook, Google, Applavin, look at whatever else is running, the lift of Moloko, like all the channels that Solitaire Grand West was doing before, because now it's different. Now it's like super old game, so it's not really comparing apples to apples. But like what they're doing now, they were doing like maybe a year ago, and then just go there and then not have 8 creatives for February. You have 20, 40.
Do you think it's because they have to do branding like approval, and that's why it's taking so long?
You are in soft launch for a year. Come on, man. This is
By
not,
the way,
this is not the argument.
they're also funneling players from their other games. Like there's an ad in Candy Crush Soda Saga. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Solitaire and stuff like that. Yes. And we still, with that amount of traction, it's just this.
Yeah. And again, it's cross promo, so I think Gonzalo could say
But
this. But
King, I think, is like a pretty good spot for cross promo. Like King itself.
Sure. But again, you still don't. It's a big company, and you don't want to send the best players from Candy Crush.
I wouldn't expect the teams would even allow to.
Trumpets.
That's why it's not in Candy Crush, but in Soda Saga,
which still makes a lot of money, though. So.
Yes, of course.
So. Yeah. Well, look.
Yeah,
I think we discussed a lot, and I think we should create a merch for Candy Crush Solitaire or Solitaire genre. I will create a merch. So everybody who's listening, go to 25gamers.com/shop and just buy all the merch we have. And in the meantime, I'm gonna work on the Solitaire collection because it's gonna be interesting.
What are you gonna do? 52 cards of dead games?
Yes, tears. I've said tears of dead Solitaire games. Jeez. Yeah, okay.
All right.
Anyway, all right. Yeah,
we're gonna definitely talk about it more. But yeah, best of luck to King Team to battle it through the battlefield, basically, because it's gonna be hot and rough very soon. Even though that it's not like yet hot and rough. Like my bet is on Disney Solitaire. I'm sorry. Like this is my bet. That basically, as Matej said, that these guys gonna roll over it.
We'll see. We'll see.
We'll see. You need to make some predictions, man, and comment.
Says who? Why do you need to make some predictions? You can also talk shit as
because I
half
don't want
of the
to
industry.
Say it depends.
Of course. But then
you know where we end up there.
Yeah, but still, it's better to say nothing than just say, "Oh, well, you
just depends."
Yeah, let me just look into whatever crystal ball and say just whatever bullshit. Yeah. Anyway, thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much for listening. please subscribe, comment under the YouTube, because you are doing that and we love it, because you're excellent crowd. Thank you very much. See you GDC. And I will be there. Guys will not be there. I guess.
Game Dead conference.
Game that, yeah, you are gonna be dead.
Double Dead conference.
Double dead. Yeah. And then, yeah, see you next time. Thank you very much.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Ciao.